let me begin with my namesake here, Mr. Nkonge, and let's maybe just start off firstly with the controversy now around the position that is being held by Mr. Harry KALABA. It is recognized now that a decision was made by the High Court to throw out an application that was made by yourselves to the courts. Maybe you could just briefly help us understand more on what exactly is happening here and what the way forward is for you as a party, seeing that the decision that was made is that Mr. Harry KALABA still remains the president of the Democratic Party.
Thank you very much, and that clarification is very important, and I'm sure people might have followed in the past few days. I think I and my colleague and the other people have been clarifying on this issue. To begin with, in the main matter which we took to court, where we are asking the court to declare that Harry KALABA has never been president of DP because our constitution actually does not provide for a president. There is no office called president. The highest office we have is that of a national chairperson. So we took the matter to court to ask the court that Harry KALABA, together with all his appointments that he made, should be a nullity, should be declared null and void. So when we took that main matter, Mr. KALABA, after discovering that he had hit a hard press and a rock, he started raising what they call preliminary issues. Preliminary issues, those are issues where you want to stop the process, the due process of the court. And he raised the issues to say the matter that is before court should be thrown out because Justin and Judith have no what we call locus standi. Locus standi is just to have a right to be heard in a certain fora or to have a right to take a matter to court. You have at least sufficient interest that you should be recognized that the matter that you've taken before court is being brought by someone who has sufficient interest in the matter. So Mr. KALABA wanted to challenge our matter that we took him. We didn't want it to take off, in short. He wanted the court to say, throw out that matter. So that's how he raised some preliminary issues. Among his preliminary issues were that we have no locus standi. In his wisdom, he was saying he suspended us. And he was saying part of the document that we attached there was not clear. He was also saying that we didn't exhaust the due process internally in trying to resolve the matter. So now a ruling came on 1st April. Actually, there's a difference between a ruling and a decision. A ruling and a judgment, sorry. A judgment is a decision that is made on the main matter. Like we took the main matter where we took him to court. That is the main action. Then a ruling is a decision that is made on a preliminary issue, on a matter arising from the main matter. So like he took. So what came out is not a decision to begin with. I must settle that. It is a ruling. So that is the difference between these two words if they are used legally, between a ruling and a judgment. Then there is a plaintiff and there is a defendant. So we are the plaintiff. The plaintiff is someone who takes somebody to court, and the defendant is someone who is defending. And when you read the ruling that was posted, Justin, like even you ahead, you were saying, no, Mr. KALABA was celebrating that a decision has been passed and I remain president. There was nothing like that in that ruling when you read. Or what Mr. KALABA was doing, two things. It's either, because I know him to be very ignorant concerning legal issues, interpreting legal issues. It's either it is his lack of understanding of legal issues, or he's trying to fool, he did it intentionally to fool the people of Zambia, because in those circles we've heard him saying Zambians are basic, they don't read. So you can post any propaganda and you run away with it. So he posted and said he has won. But when you read Justin, there is nothing there indicating that there was a decision that was made. What the court did, the court pronounced itself and said, number one, Justin and Judith and Evans, they have a locus standi to bring the matter before court because they have interest in the matter. They are office bearers of DP. So the court held that we are office bearers of DP. Number two, they said the copy which you are complaining of to say it was not clear, they can just supply you with a clearer copy. Number three, they said the due process, to exhaust the due process in the internally to resolve the matter. The court said the kind of issue is actually rife, and it's not one which can be sorted out, especially in political circles internally. So they are okay to come here. The other issue of saying no, it was prematurely before court. The court said this issue is proper before court, and therefore it will proceed. So in a nutshell, the summary of the ruling was that KALABA's preliminary issues were thrown out. The court said they lacked merit. In short, they were useless and they cannot deter the court process to proceed in the matter where we've taken him to court. So that is the meaning of the ruling, and is the one who lost. We won because he was trying to deter us from taking him to court, and the court said there is no way you can prevent. The matter is ripe to be brought before the court, and we'll hear it.
Well, you have made that clarification there, but let me engage Madam Kabemba here, and maybe we could also get more context as to what the way forward is still for the Democratic Party. I know now many believe that calling for a truce has been long overdue. I mean, this is a little over 6 months just after the 2021 general elections. Don't you agree that a truce now needs to be made, because it seems the conflict seems to be getting out of hand between yourselves and Mr. Harry KALABA?
Yeah, exactly. You're very right, Justin. I think the matter has somehow taken long. By now, this matter should have been resolved, because, I mean, we are a party that is supposed to be the option for the people of Zambia. And by 2026, we are having an election, and time is drawing closer. So we are only hoping and are praying that the court will expedite the process so that everything would be done. But also we appreciate that the ruling that came out, which Mr. Nkonge has explained about, has set the ball rolling, because now the matter is ripe before court. So the injunction will now be heard, and the main matter will now be heard. But we also have another matter before court, which involves the issue of who is Secretary General of the DP. I'm sure we saw what happened in Kawata, where the ECZ made a wrong decision to recognize Madam Precious Ntambu as Secretary General of the party. And that matter is also before the court, because we feel that that was a wrong decision. Why? Because currently, when you look at what is happening in DP, there are 3 people showing as Secretary Generals of the party. We have one, Mr. Evans Chilambwe, who we all recognize as a legitimate Secretary General of the DP, because according to the DP Constitution, a Secretary General must be elected at a general conference. And Mr. Chilambwe is the only Secretary General who was elected at a general conference. Then we have Madam Precious Ntambu, who has been masquerading as DP Secretary General, and she claims that she was appointed by Mr. Harry KALABA in 2018. Now, the questions that we have raised before court is that in 2018, Mr. Harry KALABA was Bahati Member of Parliament for PF. So how did it happen that a Member of Parliament for PF appointed a Secretary General for DP? It's a big question that needs to be answered. And then thirdly, we have Mr. Jewis Chabi, the former independent Member of Parliament for Chipili, who has also sworn an affidavit before the High Court of Zambia to say he's also Secretary General of the DP, was appointed by Mr. Harry KALABA on 25th September. So we have 3 people you can see. And now the ECZ made a decision to recognize one. And yet the documentation which was used was clearly proved by the Registrar of Societies that this document is null and void. And so that matter is also before before the court. And so when you look at the whole DP issue, you can see that it's quite very deep. It's complicated. And we only hope and pray that the courts will be able to look at this matter, quickly dispose it off, so that as a party we progress. But also I think for us, politics should have integrity. It should have truthfulness, because for us as Democratic Party, we are a political party in opposition that wants to form government. And so if we cannot manage, if we cannot respect the simple constitution of our own opposition political party, how much more when the Zambian people trust us with power? Will the Republican Constitution be safe? It will not. Look at the lie, the blue-black lie that Mr. KALABA lied to the people of Zambia, to an extent that without shame he had even to post a lie on his Facebook page. Look at that. Is that leadership? Is that integrity? Why should he fool the people of Zambia when the ruling is there? And the judge that passed the ruling is looking and is saying, what kind of a thing is this? So that is very wrong. And that is not the leadership that the Democratic Party wants.